nest in a quiet village in Japan, nestled among rolling hills and gentle streams, lived a little girl named Hana. More than anything in the world, Hana loved the spring. It wasn't just for the warmer sun or the songs of the returning birds. It was for the sakura, the cherry blossoms. Every year she would watch as the bare, dark branches of the cherry trees that lined her village paths transformed her home, bursting into a breathtaking cloud of soft pink and white petals. For Hana, the cherry blossoms were magic. They were a promise that winter-esque cold was truly over and the days of warmth and laughter had arrived. She would spend hours under the blossoming trees, feeling the gentle petals drift down like fragrant snow. She'd catch them in her hands, weave them into her hair, and watch them float along the small creek that babbled near her home. The world, for a few precious weeks, was painted in her favorite color. As soon as the last autumn leaf fell, Hana would begin her countdown. She'd mark the days on her calendar, her heart filled with a bubbly excitement that grew with each passing week. She would tell her little wooden dolls all about the coming spring, describing the beautiful pink canopy that would soon cover their world. "Just you wait," she'd whisper to them. "It's the most beautiful sight you'll ever see." But this year, something was different. Winter seemed to cling to the land with an icy grip, long after it should have departed, too. The air stayed crisp and cold, and the skies remained a stubborn, pale gray. Hana would run to the window each morning, her breath fogging the cool glass, and peer out at the cherry trees. Their branches remained stark and bare, like dark skeletons against the gloomy sky. Days turned into weeks, and still there was no sign of the familiar pink buds. The other villagers began to worry. They would gather in the small town square, their voices hushed with concern. "The blossoms are late," one would say. "I've never seen a spring this quiet," another would add. A feeling of sadness began to settle over the village, as if a dear friend had failed to return. The vibrant energy that usually filled the air during this time was missing. Hana's heart felt heavy. The spring without cherry blossoms was like a song with no music. She missed the soft pink glow that filled the village, the sweet scent that perfumed the air. More than anything, she missed the feeling of hope that the blossoms brought with them. Not one to give up, Hana remembered an old story her grandmother used to tell her. It was said that the spirits of the trees could hear music and that a beautiful melody could coax even the shyest flowers to bloom. Hana had a small, simple flute carved from bamboo. She wasn't an expert, but she played with all her heart. So, the very next morning, as the first light of dawn touched the horizon, Hana wrapped herself in a warm coat, took her flute, and walked to the oldest cherry tree in the village. Its branches were thick and gnarled, and it looked especially sad and empty. Taking a deep breath of the chilly air, she brought the flute to her lips and began to play. It was a simple tune, soft and gentle, like a lullaby. It was a song of waiting, a song of hope. She poured all her longing for the spring into her music, her notes floating through the silent morning air. She played until her fingers were numb from the cold, and then she went home. She did this every single day. Every morning, she would greet the silent tree with her melody. The villagers would hear her gentle music from their homes, a small beacon of hope in the lingering winter. They would smile, touched by her unwavering spirit. "That's our Hana," they'd say. "She will not let the spring forget us." One morning, after many days of playing, as Hana finished her song, she felt something soft land on her cheek. She opened her eyes. It was a single, perfect, pale pink cherry blossom petal. She looked up in astonishment. Another petal drifted down, then another, like a slow, graceful dance. They weren't coming from the branches above her. They seemed to be falling from the sky itself, drawn down by her music. As she continued to play, her melody now filled with joy and wonder, the petals began to fall faster. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying the petals all around her, swirling and twirling. She looked at the tree, and there, on the tip of a branch, a tiny pink bud was beginning to unfurl. Then another, and another. It was as if her music was the key, unlocking the life that had been sleeping deep within the tree. The blossoms had not forgotten. They were just waiting. They were waiting for a special kind of warmth, the warmth of a hopeful heart. They were waiting for Hana's song. Word spread quickly through the village. Everyone came out to see the miraculous sight. The air was soon filled with a shower of pink petals, and the branches of the cherry trees, one by one, began to burst into their full, glorious bloom. The village was transformed, bathed in the soft, beautiful light of the sakura. Laughter and joy returned, brighter and more cherished than ever before. Hana stood in the middle of it all, her flute in her hand and a radiant smile on her face. She learned that even when things seem lost and the world feels cold, a little bit of patience and a heart full of hope can help beauty find its way back, sometimes in the most magical way. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed our story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more tailies from around the world. We'll see you next time.